and welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley. With me, as always, from Pigtown Sports, he is Zach Moore. Today's show is brought to you by, didn't mean to turn that completely off, but all right. Today's show is brought to you by helpmygamblingproblem.org. If you or a loved one is experiencing gambling problems, please don't hesitate to reach out. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Man, Zach, the Orioles, they found a new way to lose another one today. Yeah. They go into the ninth inning. They're up 2-1. First of all, I mean, we knew that losing Ramon Laureano and Ramon Laureano, such a Baltimore accent. We knew that losing Laureano and O'Hearn was going to have an impact. I don't think we knew just how big that impact would be. Now, you also have injuries to some outfielders, which is causing you to have to play infielders in the outfield. Infielders who we don't even know their names. Guys like Ryan Noda.
You better know the name.
Right? Jeremiah Jackson, we know the name, but he's an infielder playing the outfield. Greg Allen, who the hell is Greg Allen?
He was honestly a one-time top prospect for Cleveland, I believe, and just never panned out. Yeah, and you can tell.
Exactly. And now he's playing for him meaningful baseball games in the Baltimore Orioles outfield post All-Star game, post trade deadline. But yeah, the Orioles, they scored 8 runs in a 3-game series against the Oakland Athletics, one of the worst teams in baseball, though their lineup is stout. Their lineup is absolutely stout.
Yeah, I think their 1 through 6 is pretty decent.
Yeah, I think they've got like 4 guys who have 23 or more home runs.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And really wasting a phenomenal outing by Cade Povich, where Povich goes 6 innings. He allows 1 run on 4 hits. He just looked really, really good. And it's his second straight solid start. Now, look, he gave up 4 runs, I think, in 5 innings, or 5 2/3 innings in his last outing. But one of those runs scored after he came out of the game. He was taken out on an infield single that could have been rolled in out. If it had been rolled out and out on the field, it probably would have been an out. Yeah. He gets taken out at 90 pitches, and then, the bullpen comes in, and Corbin Martin puts together one of the worst relief outings that we've ever seen. And man, how the highest of highs and the lowest of lows for Corbin Martin. He gets his first big league win and his first big league save on back-to-back days, and then, man, he's been awful ever since.
Yeah.
He's been absolutely awful ever since, and the entire Orioles bullpen is awful. But in this particular game, the Orioles go into the 9th inning with a 2-1 lead, and they've got Keegan Aiken on the bump, and they're talking about how he's the leader of the Orioles bullpen now, and how he's embracing that role as he proceeds to give up a base hit and then another base hit, and then a very long fly ball that dropped in, a long single in the sense that ball was up there for a while. It lands in front. They throw him. The guy on second scores, right? Well, the guy on first runs right through the stop sign.
Yeah, that was bad.
Gunnar has the ball as this guy is touching third base, and he scores because for some reason Gunnar cannot throw the ball straight to home plate. Yeah. And look, Alex Jackson's got to hold on to that baseball. He catches that ball, tags the guy, they're out of the inning. He's got to hold on to that baseball.
Yeah.
And then
he had 2 seconds.
Yeah. And then Gunnar obviously he rushed the throw. You can tell because he threw it and it tailed away. And it's like, dude, all you have to do is just make a normal throw like you're doing from shortstop to first base, and he's out by 30 feet. Right? Yeah. It was a terrible base running move by the runner. It was just an even worse throw and drop by Gunnar and Jackson on the play. And the Orioles, they go quietly into the night in the bottom half of the 9th inning, where you saw Greg Allen strike out, and then you saw Dylan Carlson ground out weakly to shortstop. I mean, it's a second. And then you saw Jackson Holiday put up a good at bat, walks, And then you see Jordan Westberg, who hit a home run earlier in the game, pick the click. Yeah, he hit a home run early in the game, and he strikes out flailing to end the ball game. And it's just, Adley came out and he made these comments earlier this week about how, if anything, we should be playing hard. Like we should be more motivated because we've kind of been told, hey, we're supposed to lose by the moves that were made. And no, we're still going to go out there and play hard and try and win every game that we can. Well, yeah, you're going to try to win every game that you can, but you're not going to win many games.
Right.
Today's lineup, you had, and Ryan Noda came in to pinch hit, but the bottom half of your lineup was Alex Jackson, Jeremiah Jackson,
Jordan Adams,
and Greg Allen. And then Dylan Carlson, who is now in an 0 for 36 slump, 2 for his last 53. Then you have Jackson Holliday at the top of the order, who's 7 for his last 50.
Since August 1st, he's 4 for 31.
Yeah.
With just 1 RBI. He's hitting 129.
Yeah. He's just – and look, this might be –
Well, that was coming into today. What did he do today? So 0 for 2. So make that even worse.
So
120.
Legitimately, though, how many games have they played now? What are they, 53 and 65? They played 118 games, something along those lines. Has Jackson Holliday ever played 118 games before?
No.
Yeah. So you look at what Jackson Holliday's doing, and he might just be running out of gas. Yeah. Although I will say that that's also just baseball. Right. You'll be playing baseball and you could be as hot as anybody on the planet at the plate. And then the next thing you know, it's like it's spring training all over again and you haven't swung a bat in 2 months. So that absolutely happens. But when you have the bottom half of your order being guys like Ryan Noda and Jordan Adams and Greg Allen and Dylan Carlson and who was the other guy? Jeremiah Jackson. And then you get you turn it over, you get to the top of the order, and you have Jackson Holliday sitting 121 in August. You've got 3-4 guys in your lineup that you can trust, and one of them was Adley, who hit 208 for a calendar year.
Yeah,
it's look, the offense is going to be better in next year because who
knows.
I have to believe it will be better because it's got to be right.
I think we believe that this year, though. That's the problem.
Well, we thought that let's have a real conversation about Jackson Holliday. He's going to be a great player, and he's had a decent year.
Decent. I feel like it could have been better.
It could have been better. I feel like it was going to be better. And there was a point in the season where it looked like he had really figured it out. Was he really deserving of being a finalist for an all-star spot?
Not even close.
I mean, he's got a sub 700 OPS.
Yeah.
He's got
Lau. How did Brandon Lau not make it?
I don't know.
Dude had 19 home runs before the voting was even over.
Right.
As a second baseman.
Jackson Holliday, his father was a 7-time Silver Slugger, a 7-time All-Star, one of the two. He either 4 Silver Sluggers or 4 All-Stars and vice versa with the 7. Yeah. But his dad, he's a former first overall pick. He's only 21 years old. It was a sexy pick, right? But probably not deserving. I do believe the Holiday will get better and better and better. I have some issues with this swing. I think he just opens up way too much. I don't know how much coverage he gets on the outer half because of how much he opens up. I don't think he sees enough pitches, and it's crazy because he walked a lot in the minors, but in the majors, and maybe that's their approach. Maybe they're like, look, you're going to get one good pitch, and it might be the first pitch. Go up there hacking. Maybe that's what they're telling him to do. But it's been a very middling season for Jackson Holliday. And so I kind of want to pump the brakes on, we thought that by this time of the year that he would be in about 275, close to 20 home runs, close to 20 steals, terrible base runner. How many times has that dude been picked off? How many times has he been caught stealing? He's got 14, 15
he leads
home
the league,
runs.
Right?
Yeah. What, in pickoffs or caught stealing or both?
Both combined.
Yeah. So, I'm not saying he's not a good player, not going to be a good player, but he is really struggling. He might be, he could use a day off. He could use being moved down in the order. Tony Manzolin was never going to do that.
Have you looked at his baseball savant profile?
No.
So he's a -6 batting run value, a -3 base running value, and a -3 fielding value. All are well below average. and he only has 3 red only, and only 2 things at a 50 or above, and that's barrel percentage and slugging. Now, squared up percentage is 66, chase percentage is 72. So those are his 2 red. If you count sprint speed too, he's an 83. Outs above average, -4. He's in the 11th percentile. Arm strength, he's down to 30. You're not going to see a whole lot of arm strength at a second base, but he has a better arm than that. Walk percentage, bottom 15 in the league. K percentage, 37th percentile. Whiff, 35th. Like, he's bad. He's like, we hyped him up. He is not having that great of a year. It just could be better. I mean, 251 for a 21-year-old with 14 home runs, it's fine.
And
like you said, below a 700 OPS, there's a better player in there that we just haven't seen yet.
Right.
And I feel like that better player is there right now. We're just not seeing it.
And there have been moments this year where he had some extended stretches where he looked like that dude. Where, like I said, it looked like he had figured it out. His batting average at one point in June, I think, got up above 270. You know, and
right.
I think a couple of things that they have to work on in the offseason is just kind of like stepping straight towards the pitcher. Stop opening them up. Yeah. Stop opening up so much, and take your pitches. Work your at bats. Yeah. If you're going to bat leadoff for any team in the big league, you've got to learn how to work a count and tire out a pitcher. But you're hacking way too much. Too much. You know, and do you think that there's any chance that he's maybe gotten a little power hungry?
It's like a domino for the Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about it before with Cowser. I mean, Cowser was just a good contact. He was an elite contact hitter through college, all through the minors. Now he's can't make contact. I don't know if they just want to live and die by the home run. We complained about it last year. It's becoming more evident this year. It's possible. I mean, I sat behind him plate today, and I thought his stance looked a little weird. And I was just watching a couple of his old clips on Baseball Savant, and he had that toe tap, which was fine. But he would like tap it and then finish his stride. And today it was like he would tap it and kind of just roll on it. Like he wasn't getting that second step like he normally was. So I don't know if things are getting rushed for him right now. I don't know if, like you said, he's not used to playing this many games. He's getting tired. There's a lot of variables at play right now, but I mean, we just look across the season. Like the only thing we can really say is these guys are just underperforming. I mean, the excuses are valid for a lot of these guys, but at some point we got to call a spade, and they're just not doing what they're capable of doing.
Right. And
whose fault that might be, I blame a lot on the coaches because I know that there's better players in there and they're not getting it out of them, but we might have to start blaming the players a little bit more too.
Right. And before we get into that, I want to remind everybody today's show brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. Miss anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with Trevor Rogers, Rob Woodson, and Buck Showalter? You can find those and many more in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Gunnar's terrible throw to the plate. Yeah. Jackson not squeezing and getting the tag on him. It makes me. I had a couple of people say to me, they don't work on it. Do you think that that's the case, or do you think it's another instance of Gunnar kind of shrinking in a big moment? What do you think it is with that? Because it is egregious how much Gunnar struggles throwing that ball home on big plays like that.
I think he just tries too hard, and I'm not going to say that they don't work on it. Every team in baseball works on it continuously. That's another story, because I mean, I played a couple of years and we didn't work on that continuously either. It was usually just in spring training. At that point, you should know what you're doing between Gunnar throwing the ball and the catcher catching the ball. Spring training, that's more to kind of just get that rep back in, because not everybody has a nice indoor facility to work on that kind of stuff. He just rushes. I mean, we saw it last year. He rushed throws at shortstop. It's all mental for Gunnar Henderson. Yeah. At the plate, in the field, base running, it doesn't matter. He's so competitive that I think he just overthinks himself on almost everything. and it's something that he's going to have to get better with age. He is still young. What, 23, 24?
23, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
no, 24. I think he's got to be 24 by now.
Yeah, he's probably 24. So I mean, I just, it's mental with him. As with it, I think it's a lot of guys too, not just him. So I don't know. It's exhausting. I don't think moving him positions helps anything.
No,
because it's just who he is. He's going to make fantastic plays wherever he plays. It doesn't matter where he plays. Third base, shortstop, put him in center field. It doesn't matter. Gunnar Henderson he's a gamer. He's going to give you 110%, but he's also going to screw up.
Yeah.
Because he's giving you 100%. Sometimes baseball can be played at a very high level, not at 100%. And I don't think Gunnar's kind of quite figured that out just yet.
Well, the guy hasn't made an error at shortstop in like 2 months.
Yeah.
Right.
He's played some very good baseball.
He's hitting the ball. He's got 16 stolen bases now. What is that? 14, 15 home runs. The home runs are down. They're down, but everything else looks good for Gunnar. The defense is the area that he's made the biggest improvement in, but it's still these throws, these relay throws, trying to get somebody at the plate. He just has not looked good doing it this year. And then when he did make a good throw, Sanchez dropped it, So yeah. It's
been the story of the year.
Yeah, it's the whole season has just been a lost cause. They've played some bad baseball, and then I look at some of the comments that like Tony Mansolino makes.
You got to keep that guy away from a microphone.
When it comes to like Kobe Mayo, right? And I did a spot on the Fan yesterday, and I was talking about how Manzolino said, like, he basically when he talks about Kobe Mayo, he talks about him reaching his potential not as a matter of when, but as a matter of if, right? Like it almost seems like he doesn't like. Maybe they think there's a maturity issue with Kobe Mayo. I'm surprised we haven't heard Manzolino just say if he ever gets his head out of his ass, he's going to be a really good player. It seems like that's what he's trying to say. And then we hear Mayo saying,
shock me.
And then we hear Mayo saying, like, the coaches will come up to me and they tell me, yeah, you suck today, but you're going to be out there again tomorrow. I don't believe that the coaches say that you suck today. But I do believe what they're telling him is like, yeah, today maybe didn't go well, but we're still going to give you every bit of run to go out there and play. But it's just the wording has been strange, and it just kind of makes me wonder what the
he's always been a very, very like direct person. He's never been one to beat around the bush. Like I've kind of like watched his Instagram tags, titles over the years, how he's interacted with certain people, what he said on Twitter, and then like he gets it to you straight. He was not happy going back to Norfolk, and Connor Norby wasn't either. That year that he got traded, he made a year 3 so glad to be back kind of like sarcastic post, and then later deleted it on Twitter. But I don't know if they like that. But sometimes you just got to let a good player be a good player. And if that's how they want to act, like, sorry about a player too. Not everybody's going to be a little robot. And I don't know. I mean, he's a highly touted prospect. If he kind of wants to mouth off a little bit, I mean, prove it in the big leagues, obviously. But I'm not going to sit here and tame the fire down a little bit because nobody else has any.
Right. It's been, I mean, watching this team, I think it's really difficult. It's really difficult for this team to go out there and play baseball and play inspired baseball day after day after day because they are playing some of their best baseball of the year, and then they watched as 2 of their best hitters and basically their entire bullpen was traded away, and so when they see that, and then they see O'Hearn hitting a big go-ahead home run for the Padres, Ramon Laureano looking like the best bat that was traded at the deadline with a big walk-off hit yesterday. He's tearing the cover off the ball. And then they're seeing these relievers get big outs for other teams, and sometimes some of them teams in their own division. It cannot be easy to go out there day after day after day knowing it doesn't matter how many runs we score, our bullpen cannot hold them down.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that's got to feel like. And then on top of that, Zach, they've got 44 games left. 32 of them are against the Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Astros, Mariners, Dodgers, and Padres. And that's before you even consider, even though they're under 500, they got 3 left at Tampa Bay. They've got 3 in San Francisco, who's 4 games out of a wild card spot. It's going to be, I mean, they don't play another team with a losing record until Pittsburgh comes to town on September 9th. That's a month from now.
Right.
Like, this is a gauntlet. We talked about the gauntlet last year. This is the gauntlet because they're going to get their doors blown off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to be tough for this team to win 70 ball games this year.
I mean, look, what you and I talked about, what we wanted to see for the rest of the year, we wanted to see the young guys get better. And those are the kind of games that you want to see them perform in. And look, so far since the trade deadline, no one is producing outside of Adley Rutschman.
Right.
Everyone else has been kind of poop. Guys that we would expect. I mean, like I said, Jackson Holliday's hitting below 120. Cowser was hitting 150 before his concussion. Westberg just hitting 233. Now, Westberg's hitting the ball well, I would say. Some of them are just right at guys, but still, 233. I mean, even if we look at their OPSs, I mean, Adley is doing well, 891. Gunner's doing well, 845. His average is down, but, you know, Westberg's 615 OPS. Cowser was 440, and Holliday's 311. Like,
yeah.
And you expect these guys to perform well, and if they're going to carry that into those kind of games, I mean,
yeah. And when you talk about Holliday, 311.
311.
That's not even a good on base percentage.
Right.
And that's his on base plus slugging. It just goes to show you just how much this team is struggling right now. And I'll tell you, so I had a baseball game today. We made the playoffs, and I'm in there pitching the 5th inning, and the 5th inning I shut the team down. We ended up losing this game 21-1 today. 21-1. This team they're the best team in the league, and they always are. But I'm watching as I'm pitching in the 6th, and I get a pop-up. It gets dropped. I get a fly ball that gets dropped, a fly ball that gets dropped, a ground ball that gets booted. I'm throwing my arm out of the socket, basically. And when you're in that moment and you're watching your team falter and you're watching your team struggle, even in that moment, it is really, really difficult to find the juice to push forward. To find the juice to push forward and just play your best and play hard and try and go out there and win a ball game. And we're talking about, just like a game that doesn't mean anything. These guys, they're going out there and they're playing every day, and they know that they're going to find they won't say it outwardly, but they're probably sitting there thinking, how are we going to lose this game today? It's human nature to, when your back's up, and it's not like their back's against the wall in the sense that they have they've got to come out swinging because the playoffs are on their line. It's like their backs are against the wall because it's like, you guys are really bad this year, and everybody knows you're really bad. You're the biggest team in baseball, and you've played terribly all season long. Your guys got traded because you guys could not win baseball games, and half your roster's hurt. And so like when you're beaten down and the blows keep coming, it is human nature to take a play off, to be like, you know what, I'm not going to hurt myself to try and win a game that doesn't matter. I just, you know what I mean? So it's got to be difficult for them to go out there and continue to try and play and win ball games when they're really not playing for anything. And they're tanking. It's been written on the wall that this team is tanking right now. You talking to the dog?
Yeah, my daughter.
Oh. I didn't see her walk in. I only saw the dog come in, so I wasn't sure.
Say hi. Make it quick.
Hi.
Hey. She can't hear me. I know. I said hi.
That's Mr. Paul.
Hi, Mr. Paul.
Hi there. Oh, well, that's the
we're
best
gonna get
part.
back to talk some baseball, okay?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Hold on.
I think she was saying O's, not no. But yeah, look, the team's they've got a brutal stretch to end the year. Their only respite is they get to play Pittsburgh, and I think they have another 3 games against the White Sox at some point. Now, look, maybe they could go out there and surprise us, and we are going to see some guys that get called up. Basayo's probably going to be here in a week or two. Beavers will be here in a week or two. It's Friday. I think that they can join the team and not impact their rookie eligibility for next year, because it's 45 games, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people saying
45 days.
45 days active roster. So what those have to be careful. It doesn't happen often, but you got to be careful. If you pull them up on that day, because that's 15th is 44 days.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a natural disaster or any kind of weather event or something ungodly with, unjust people, anything could happen where they have to cancel a game and move it to the last day of the year. That's your 45th day. So I don't think we're going to see them on the 15th, just to be sure, because you don't know. You don't want to make that mistake. God willing, if you make that mistake, right? Because you can't send them back down come September. You will screw the franchise. So I would say the 18th, it gives them the 3 days just to be sure. 18th, what is it? Is that in Boston or is that in Houston? I think it's Boston.
Well, let's see. So what do you mean it'll screw the franchise?
So if you call them up on the 15th, right, in that 44th days,
Mm-hmm.
and some ungodly thing happens where they have to move that game to the last day of the year, which has happened once in a while, not very often, but it has happened. That now is the 45th day, and now they lose their PPI, and they lose their rookie status because you're on the active roster for 45 days.
Right.
So I don't think they're going to play it that close.
Norfolk plays till the end of September.
Yeah.
So they could send them back down in September. They could realistically send them back down if they have to. I don't think they're going to play it that close. Do you think there's a chance that they wait for Houston to come to town the following Thursday to call them up?
That's what I was thinking.
The 21st.
Well, no, I was thinking the 18th in Boston. But they might wait to the home series to call both of them up.
Yeah,
you're going to be struggling to sell tickets by then.
Yeah. They're already struggling to sell tickets.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? About the fact that this team is having the most disappointing season, arguably in franchise history, right? And then they come out and they're like, "Oh, we're taking away the 13 game plan, we're taking away the 29 game plan. We're doing a 3% hike in ticket costs. We're taking away benefits, some of these benefits from the season ticket holders, and they are doing a 10 game plan, but it's going to be in restricted sections. So there's specific sections that you can only buy the 10 game plan in. You cannot. Then there's a 20 game plan, a 40 game plan, and you can't buy lower box seats if it's not an 81 game plan. It just seems like it's a slap in the face to the fans while they've watched a team that was supposed to have World Series aspirations limp and crawl through this season.
I think they've been pretty disconnected pretty much this entire season from what the fan base actually wants. Mm-hmm. I talked about it on my Twitter. State of Maryland and Baltimore has imposed new taxes. July 1st this year, they went into effect. The Orioles got crushed with this. They're now taxing the 50-50 drawing every single night. The Maryland Stadium Authority raised their taxes. The food and beverage thing, their tax got raised a little bit. I'm pretty sure the contract for the food and beverage probably also went up. You're looking at roughly 15 to 20 million in taxes increase for next year, and they're only passing down 3% to the fan. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks. They are eating a decent bit of it, but look, I think the way that she worded it about inflation was wrong. Again, being disconnected with the fans. They go about things a little wrong too. I wouldn't have sent the email that I sent. I wouldn't have described it the way that sometimes transparency is best. You come out and say, "Hey, we got screwed here with taxes. We're going to eat a good bit of this. We need your help with 3%." Do you really think fans would complain about that if you were dead honest about it? Sure, some. But do you think the vast majority would be like, "Oh, that's bullshit," and like, and pitchforks ready to go? Like, I don't. Right. I don't at all. But I don't understand why people just aren't more transparent about things. No professional team is. I don't know. I really don't know. It's stupid to me because I think the 13-game plan was perfect for some people. Mm-hmm. And then you had those plans. I think it was like Sundays only or something like that.
Yeah, that was a 13-game plan, but it was I did that one year, but it was only on Sundays.
Yeah, and then like you take that away. 20 is a lot. 20 is a lot for people to commit to. Yeah. And 40 is even more. I mean, granted, you have some people that can make 81 that live fairly close. 40 is a lot.
Well, and you do have a 10-game option, but again, I don't know what sections it's going to be in, but it's specific sections only. So, right. Which to me tells me probably down the in the upper deck down the baselines. That's what it tells me is where they're going to be. But I don't know. I think, like you said, it's just that there's a disconnect between the marketing team, ownership, and the fan base. It's just a weird time to announce it. But you and I both know that next season, if the Orioles come out firing out on all cylinders out of the gates and they start the season 35-15 or something like that, or 30-20, and they're playing good baseball, nobody's going to care how much those tickets cost.
Right.
No, nobody's going to care that they're $20 tickets now $26. They're just not going to.
Yeah.
So for me, it's I've never cared because in my opinion, that's just what professional sports franchises do. They just they raise prices on you on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that there was like a player T-shirt is like $52. A T-shirt with a player's name on it's like $52. You gotta be out of your ever loving mind if you think I'm paying $50 for any T-shirt. I think I got this T-shirt at a Ron John Surf Shop for like $20, and I was like, should I get it? I mean, it's $20. I like the shirt, but like I don't think it. So for me, it's just par for the course, So it doesn't really bother me. And I used to go to a lot more games when I didn't have a family. Now that I do, it's like I'll go to 3 to 5 games here if they're really good. Maybe I'll make it to 10, maybe, but I doubt that even at this point in my life.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It's just the timing and the way that they worded it, has been strange. It definitely has been strange.
I paid $7.95 today, I think, for a bottle of Coke.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was at one of them like little bar kiosks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, hey, can I have a Coke? Like I brought water in the stadium and I was just drinking water for a little while and I was like, I want something different. I've got to drive home. It was like 7th inning. I was like, I'll just get a Coke. Mm-hmm. He rung it up and flipped it around for a tip and I was like, wow. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, wow. Like $7.95 for a bottle of Coke. I mean,
right.
I don't know if it was just a little kiosk area that I went to.
That's probably about the price.
Blew my mind, dude. Blew my mind. I was expecting like $5.
Yeah.
Wow.
$7.95. I went into one of those. They have like that convenience store in the warehouse.
Yeah.
This is a couple of years ago, and I went in there and like literally they don't do anything.
Right.
You go in there, you grab your drink, you grab a sandwich, it's like a tuna salad sandwich or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like a convenience store. Grab a bag of chips, and I go and you ring it up yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it like $25?
Well, it was like $25,
mm-hmm.
and then they asked me for a tip. Like the screen says,
yeah.
And I'm so used to tipping that I hit 20%, and I stood there for a second. I said, I just tipped you 20% for just sitting here. You didn't do anything. Yeah. I was so mad at myself. So now I will not hit the tip button at all in there. Like there is nothing that anybody does in that stadium that like that sounds bad. I'm a really good tipper. I've worked in the restaurant industry for over 20 years, but like you've got to do something to get a tip. When you and it does. You taking the lid off the top off of my water,
ringing me up does not deserve a tip.
Right? Yeah, I'm not giving you a tip for that. It's weird to me that they put that option on there. The people at Starbucks, I'll give you a tip. You made my drink. You know what I mean? Or like. And I guess at if somebody comes and they like ring you up and it's not you ringing your own stuff up. Like, and you made my food, okay, I'll probably tip you for that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, if I grab it, I go over, I ring myself up, like, sorry. But anyway, this is getting out of hand here. Today's show brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. If you're feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself, it could be low testosterone. Wow, where I am. At Game Day Men's Health, they specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. So call Game Day Men's Health at Owings Mills at 443-264-4454, Columbia at 443-266-3505, or Frederick at 240-931-3717. Or visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com and ask them about a complimentary testosterone test. All right, Zach, moving right along here. The Orioles have a lot that they've got to do in the offseason. They've got a manager they've got to hire, probably a whole new coaching staff that he's going to bring in. They've got probably 4 different slots they've got to fill in their bullpen. They've got to get up. They legitimately have to get a middle of the order bat for this lineup, and they've got to add. In my opinion, they've got to add 3 starting pitchers, and 2 of them have to be worth their salt.
Yeah.
Let's start with the manager. How quickly do you think a manager gets hired, and do you think the Orioles are already interviewing candidates?
You should be. I mean, I know a lot of people have been kind of asking why they haven't hired one yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with it, but I also understand that like mid-season, your pool is probably not as deep. You don't really get the opportunity to interview Ryan Flaherty or Skip Schumacher right now. Your interviews would be like Buck Showalter or somebody else who's been fired previously.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that sense, but they should be extremely aggressive the day after the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
If the guys that they're interested in don't make the playoffs, have that lined up prior, because I think you can sign coaches prior, just not players.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that.
You got to be aggressive. I think you're right, though. I think you are right.
Yeah, you got to be aggressive. Find the guy that you want, or find 10 of them that you want to interview. I think the bigger question right now is, if you're David Rubenstein, do you let Mike have this offseason, or do you think they're internally looking for a change?
I don't think there's any doubt that Mike Elias is back next season. I don't. There's not a doubt in my mind, because he's still here right now. You gave him the deadline, and he's still here. You gave him the draft. You gave him the deadline. He's still here. If you were gonna fire him then, why not fire him now?
Yeah.
But then who takes over for him?
Right.
And do you get rid of the entire front office? Is it just Elias, or is Sig go? Does Eve Rosenbaum go? Do you get rid of what about Matt Blood? Right? Does
Was Matt Blood Elias higher?
I think he might have been. I'm not sure. But who's the other guy? Is it Kobe Perez?
They hired Matt Blood in 2019.
And that was an Elias hire.
Yeah, he came from Texas.
So maybe I don't see a world in which Mike Elias doesn't have his job for this offseason. And with that in mind, I'll tell you right now that one of my biggest things for this team, obviously they need starting pitching. Obviously they need to rebuild that bullpen. Okay. It has been obvious to me that this team has needed a legitimate middle of the order bat for 3 years, going on 4 years now. Do you think they sign one?
Probably not.
And that
they're going to feed us the Kobe Mayo's ready, or Heston needs another shot, or Beavers maybe finishes the season hot. This is his role, and I don't know. I don't think we have very, very lofty expectations for what Mike should and needs to do this offseason. And I just look, man, it's year 8, going into year 8, and it hasn't happened yet. Corbin Burns obviously was a trade. It wasn't a sign. Could they trade for something? Maybe. I don't see how somebody's going to give up a big bat like that.
Yeah, who's that guy going to be? Who are you going to trade to get? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just feel like we're sitting out at a Jorge Soler signing. Yeah.
No, thank you.
I know.
No, thank you.
Right.
Now look, Marcell Ozuna is going to be a free agent
at 38.
Yeah, and he's a DH only.
At that point, why wouldn't you just sign JD Martinez this year?
Right. I keep going back to Elias at the winter meetings. Why did you bring the wall back in? Because I wanted to sign Gary Sanchez and Tyler O'Neill. Like you did such a great job. like I'll never forget how giddy he was about that, and I'm just sitting
Right.
there like these guys aren't any good. And and in Tyler O'Neill's case, he's good, but he's never on the field. Like, and that's who he thought was like good signings. Now look, Gary got hot, but then Gary got hurt. And the story of the season for everybody else. I don't know that I have any faith in him to go out and sign a legitimate free agent. I don't
Right.
think he wants to. I think that he stockpiled all of these players to go make a trade for a starter. He's going to have to sign a reliever, but that's nothing for him. He'll find a couple of relievers that he's willing to give $12 million to and bring them in and blow smoke up our butts.
Speaking of that, you've been around the game for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime they don't talk about an injury, it's bad. Anytime they say that they need to wait for the swelling to go down, it's typically bad.
Mm-hmm.
When's the bad news going to break on Felix?
Well, what kind of bad news are we talking about? Because it's a shoulder. We know it's shoulder inflammation. The inflammation's so bad that they had to wait for the swelling to go down.
How and why?
I don't know. Maybe
your shoulder's that swollen, something's torn, right? I mean, when you have to wait for something swelling wise to go down, you're looking for a tear somewhere. So, are we looking at Felix missing some of next year? Is it the rotator cuff? Is it the labrum? Is it maybe just a tricep, like tricep tendonitis, like up in here? They've been silent, and it's never ever good when they say we have to wait on swelling to go down, because normally when they do that, something's torn.
Right.
The swelling goes down pretty quick if it's not torn. So God forbid that's rotator cuff. God forbid it's labrum. Listen, labrum doesn't sound like much, but most pitchers don't make it back from it ever.
So recovery time for a torn labrum after surgery generally takes 4 to 6 months for a full recovery.
For a position player. I've had it.
Yeah, it says this can be longer for athletes and those with more severe tears. So that's for a torn labrum.
It's over 1 year. Over 1 year until you're back throwing 100%. You can still throw at like 6 to 8 months. You never get the velocity back until over, let's say, 12 to 16 months.
A rotator cuff, few months to a year. I went to a physical therapist beginning of last year because I couldn't throw without my shoulder hurting.
Yeah.
And they checked out my arm. They're like, actually, there's nothing wrong. Your arm is structurally sound. You're just super tight. And they worked out the kinks for me. But the guy told me about 75% of people have at least a minor tear in their rotator cuff. So is it a labrum? Is it a rotator cuff? Like, I don't know, but it's a great question. And we know what it's like when you don't have a shutdown closer. Ask Craig Kimbrell. Ask Keegan Aiken. Like, I don't know who the dude is. And maybe, who is the guy that they got in that trade with the guy that throws 104? Maybe that's the plan for him eventually, is to become a lockdown closer.
He just got hurt the other day, didn't he?
Did he?
Yes. What was his name?
Let me see. Let's go to the
Ramon Gomez. Yeah.
He got hurt?
Yeah, he's on the IL.
Wow. Yeah.
7-day injured list. Yep. They put him on the 9th, so 2 days ago. Didn't say what it was. I forget what they said it was. Let me see if I can. Ramon Gomez injury. Lower back strains. That doesn't sound as bad.
Yeah, that's not as bad. But it just makes you wonder: is that going to be now like a 5th or a 6th spot in the bullpen? They and somebody said to me they were very rude about it, so I blocked them. They were like, "Why do you care? The goal isn't to win now." They told me that STFU, basically, like, it doesn't matter if they don't have anybody in their bullpen but that's the thing. Like, you watch your team, you want to watch your team win. They traded all of these arms with nobody to replace them. And they traded them for nobody that could replace him. Now, look, Dietrich Ems is having a nice run here. Struck out another two in an inning pitched, or 2/3 of an inning today. But they have they legitimately have nobody in that bullpen. The fact that we're talking about Keegan Aiken being the leader in that bullpen, they've got nobody. I don't know how they're going to get that many relievers, and that makes you wonder who internally are they going to put in their bullpen and try and sell us on this guy being a big piece of the bullpen. Who's that going to be? Because it's going to be multiple people. Cade Povich is pitching just well enough now they were talking about on the broadcast. So, like, if Cade Povich is suddenly a piece for you next year, that's huge for this franchise. Why is that huge for this franchise? It's huge that a guy who, generally speaking, will give you one good start followed by 2 or 3 bad starts it is suddenly a piece again for this franchise. Tyler Wells threw 4 innings of no-run ball. He's up to 8 1/3 innings of scoreless baseball in his rehab stint. I think he should be in the bullpen, but like everything I'm seeing now tells 4 innings of his shutout ball today. They're planning on him starting.
Yeah,
they are absolutely planning on him starting.
They're so disconnected. They really are. Like, haven't we already tried this experiment? Like, are you setting him up to be a starter so you don't have to go out and sign another starter?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
The guy proved that he was effective in the bullpen. This is his 2nd surgery, I think. Don't quote me on that.
He had Tommy John surgery when he was in Double-A back. Who did we get him from? Was it the Twins? He came from the Twins, right?
I forget where he came from.
I think he was with the Twins, and I know that when he was in Double-A, he had Tommy John surgery. He came back. He was a Rule 5 pick from the Orioles. They had him closing games the second half of, 2021. And then he is in the rotation, and he's thrown well in the rotation. 3 inning starts here, and then they were like, and he was so damn efficient in the rotation. There was like, he's through 3 innings at 30 pitches.
Right.
So he'd give you a 5 or 6 inning start and only throw 65 pitches. Then he gets hurt again, and he misses 6 weeks. Then he comes back and starts for Dean Kramer in that Labor Day series against like he's the opener, and then Dean Kramer comes in, pitches the next 6 innings. No point in me saying that. I just remember it. Then he starts the next year. He has the lowest ERA in the American League the first half of the season, and then he runs out of gas. And he can't pitch. He's giving up a bunch of home runs. The next thing you know, he's pitching out of the bullpen at the end of 2023, looking really good out of the bullpen. Then he makes 3 starts in 2024, and then he has to have not Tommy John surgery, but they put that internal brace in there. So the guy has continuously been used as a starter by you. He gets hurt every single year pitching out of your rotation, inevitably ends up back in your bullpen, is lights out of your bullpen, and then you try to make him a starter again. The perfect word is what you said. There's a disconnect there. The guy is now 30 years old, doesn't have a ton of big league experience, but enough big league experience, enough track record to tell you that he is a legitimate reliever who can get guys out. He cannot be in your rotation because he will not make it through a full season. He will not do it.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't understand it. I really don't.
And what's the point in bringing him back to start this year?
I mean, the only thing I can maybe think of is you're just trying to get his work in, going into maybe 26 or something like that. But if you're if you're going him and stretching him out 4 or 5 innings, he's not too far away from rejoining the team. Is he starting?
Right.
Is he starting? Like, you're going to go from 4 to 5 to 1? What sense does that make?
Right.
You know, he's not used to kind of coming in mid-game and warming himself up. No, he's used to having a freaking hour to get himself ready.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to complain too much, but it's just like, it's the little things that I feel like they just continually do wrong this year.
Well,
we see it on the field. The little things, fundamentals, little things. Like,
haven't we earned the right to complain though? And look, I get knocked for this all the time. I'm too negative, or I complain too much. I complain about stuff that just shouldn't happen.
Right. Fundamentals.
Like right. And like, it's not, and somebody else said it. I've been saying this for years. Because with the Orioles, even when they're really good, it's not that they lose. I can deal with a loss 5-4 where it's been back and forth and they score 5 and you just can't get that fifth run home.
Right.
I can deal with that. I can't deal with the losses like what happened today. It's not that
suicide
they
squeeze
lose.
was so funny.
Right. And
I'm
then
like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, that decent bunt there. I mean, Mike calls an over, and all of a sudden Jackson takes off from third, and I'm like, you were just standing flat-footed when the bunt hit the ground. What are we doing there? Like, there's a difference in a safety squeeze where your momentum is kind of going towards home, and you're getting a good secondary in case it's a good bunt. If not, you go back. No, he took like 2 steps and stood flat, and then was like, oh, that might be a good bunt. Let me run. It blew my mind. Blew my mind.
We didn't see that on the broadcast.
I know. I was so mad.
So it wasn't even a suicide squeeze.
No.
Or maybe it wasn't. He missed the sign and just decided, well, I'm going to run.
I think it was a safety squeeze. And you know what a safety squeeze? You get a good secondary, and if it's a decent bunt, you take off. And if not, you bust your butt back to third. He took his 2 steps, and he just stood there. And then the bunt went down, and it was like, oh, the catcher's coming out. Let me start running. I was screaming.
Well, this Orioles regime has never met an infield ground ball that they don't want to send the guy on third home on.
It's incredible.
And the crazy thing is,
and they've got to be like 1 for 79 with it too.
That bunt only got like 8 feet down the line.
Yeah, it didn't even go down the line, really.
It was like he basically ran right into the bunt.
Yeah.
And then in Allen's next at bat with a runner on second, they had him try the bunt again, and he couldn't get it down. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what is happening? So it's not that they lose; it's how they lose. They find they had an 8-0 lead in Tampa Bay, and they lost.
Yeah,
and they didn't, and they got no hit the rest of the game. They scored 3 runs in the first inning on Friday on 2 home runs.
Yeah,
they got 1 hit the rest of the game. They scored 3 runs in the first inning on a Gunnar Henderson home run yesterday, and they didn't score again the rest of the game.
Oh, I pulled some stats earlier. Since the trade deadline, the O's are 3-6. They've only scored 12 of 81 innings since August 1st, and they've only scored 1 inning of the entire game 3 times, or they've been held scoreless twice. And the outfield was hitting 6 for 71, which is an .084 average. Speechless. Yes.
Jacob Calvin Meyer put out a post today after the game. The Orioles started, and it was Dylan Carlson, Greg Allen, Jordan Adams, Ryan Noda, Jeremiah Jackson in the outfield this series.
Mm-hmm.
They combined to go 1 for 28.
Yep.
1 for 28.
And that was like, Jeremiah Jackson today.
Yeah, with a triple.
Yeah.
That I think he thought was a home run when he hit it.
I picked him for pick to click too, just for giggles.
I picked Westberg. I picked Westberg, and he did not disappoint. I picked Gunnar. Thank you. I picked Gunnar in the top of the first yesterday, and then he homered was it the bottom of the first? Yeah, it was a 3-run homer in the bottom of the first. So a couple of I've been doing pretty well with pick to click. I think I've got like 14 or 15 now, and I'm still like closer to the bottom than I am to the top.
Yeah, my cousin's he's got like a 12-point lead on everybody. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how you guess that many home runs correctly, but
he's pretty good at everything he does. Fantasy baseball, football, you name it.
So he's Jamie Foxx. Okay.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys. All right, today's show brought to you by the new print issue of Press Box, which is coming this Wednesday. On the cover, Bo Smolka will profile Ravens running back Derrick Henry and how his success after 30 has proved he's a unicorn at the position. Also inside, we profile college football players from the teams all across the state. You can find the new issue all throughout the region, including at 60 Royal Farm stores. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Also, you can grab the Carmelo issue before it's gone this Wednesday. It is still in stores until Wednesday. So go out and get your copy.
Goodness. I just happened to I started looking at some of the minor league stuff, and Chesapeake is hitting 185 in August in 300 at bats as a team. Yikes. 23 RBIs.
Who's
104 strikeouts.
Who's the next manager of the Baltimore Orioles?
I think it's going to be just like John Mabry. It's going to be somebody that we're not really like thinking of. And I don't know if it's good or bad.
I've heard a lot of people saying Ryan Flaherty.
I'd like Ryan, but I don't think Ryan would deal with Mike's shit. Mike's crap.
He already said it. Let's just go.
I don't think he would put up with it.
Well, and I don't think that they should be bringing in another first-year manager.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Like
that might be all you can get.
Maybe.
If not, you're stuck with Buck Showalter. Let me ask you this: give me your thoughts on Buck Showalter coming back to the Orioles. All right, coming to the Orioles back.
That's what I want.
Is it?
That's what I love Buck. I love Buck Showalter, and I think that he's gotten this bad rap as somebody who can't win the big one, and I just don't think that's true. I think he takes teams and he makes them overachieve. You know, there is no reason that like that. Those 2012 to 2016 teams, 2014 was a really good team. They had a really great pitching staff. The bullpen was absolutely phenomenal on every team that entire 5-year stretch. But like 2012, I think they still led the league in home runs allowed.
Yeah.
You know, like they were a beer league softball team that had the right manager. I think that Buck Showalter I think that this team that we currently have, the core of this team is far and away more talented than the teams that Buck Showalter had. I agree. I think he was the difference. I think he was the difference, and I think that there's just something about him, the way he manages a game, the way his personality is before and after games and his press conferences, the fire. He will not hesitate to come out of a dugout and give somebody a piece of his mind, you know. And so for me, and the fact that he ended his tenure as the Orioles manager with a losing record because they lost 115 games in his final season, I think just absolutely sucks. I would welcome Buck Showalter back with open arms. He's the guy who I want them to hire. My question for you is, how realistic do you think that is?
I don't know. I think the ship sailed personally. I agree with everything you said about Buck, and how I think he would help this team win. Mm-hmm. He's another guy. I just don't think him and Mike would get along. Buck he's an older guy. He's stuck in his ways. He wants to do things his way. Nothing wrong with that. But you got a young guy from Yale who wants everything done his way too. And I don't know if that would coexist very well. And when managers and GMs don't get along, it usually trickles down. And
he didn't get along with Duquette.
Well, who did? Duquette was an idiot. But I mean, he could turn these guys around. I think he could find a competent coaching staff.
I think Ryan Flaherty would probably be on his coaching staff.
I agree. That was his guy. That was his guy.
Yeah.
Which would be great. And I think he would probably keep Buck Britton, and because he coached him and he was in the system with him at the same time. I don't know.
You also have to think, Buck's in his mid to late 60s now, right?
69.
He's pushing 70 years old.
Yeah.
And so if he comes back to manage, he probably only wants to do it for a few years, right?
Now, if he did it while grooming either Britton or Flaherty, that's great.
That's what I'm getting to.
Or even Trinos.
If you have a Buck Britton or a Robinson Chirinos and a Ryan Flaherty, you're grooming your replacement. Yeah. And you're grooming them to not take your job, but to slide into your job when you decide to hang it up. I think that Buck deserves every opportunity in the world to go win a World Series before he's officially retired. Yeah. He is absolutely. You saw how loved he is in Baltimore. Then you see him. I posted the Jack Nicholson, the smiling and nodding from anger management. I posted that when I on a quote tweet of Rubenstein and Showalter talking at the Hall of Fame ceremony yesterday. I would absolutely love to see Buck come back. I'm not ruling it out until it doesn't happen. Here's my question for you. I think that a lot of people think that David Rubenstein is a caricature. I think a lot of people think that he's just this happy-go-lucky kind of oh shucks, I don't know what's going on kind of guy. And I just don't think that that's the case. I think that there's a lot of people who have a very, very wrong impression of Rubenstein. I think that behind closed doors, Rubenstein's like, I've invested a lot of money in this team, and I told this fan base that I want to win a World Series. You better get me a World Series. I think there's a lot of that going on. I don't know how much.
What's missed among all this too is Argetti, a younger guy, and guys like that don't get to where they are in life by just being okay with mediocrity.
Right.
They're go-getters, and they're not afraid to push their chips in to go and get something done. And when it doesn't, they're not afraid to pull it out and start all over.
Right.
They can bankrupt one business and go and start another one and make it successful. They can read markets well. And that's why I asked about the whole Elias situation. Do you think they're reading everything right now and seeing the fan anger and the lack of fans at games and stuff? And then do they just say, we gave you the entire year, it didn't get better from day 1 to day 162? Your plug is pulled.
I could see it. But I also could see them saying, look, you have this off season. And like, the thing is, Mike Elias he's smart, right? Like, you don't go to Yale if you're not smart. You don't run a baseball team if you're not a professional baseball team if you're not smart. He's got to know how much his job is on the line. Because the next fire that isn't somebody on the coaching staff, like Mantello's not going to get fired. He's just not going to be brought back, right? The next fire is Mike Elias. He's the next one to go.
Yeah,
if this doesn't get turned around, and so they told him, you've got the money to do this, go do it. Which is why, like, there's a big part of me that's like, he wants to run this team the way he wants to run it. He wants to prove that he can win a World Series in his way and not have to go the way of the Yankees or the Cubs or the Red Sox or the Dodgers. But I also, like, there's also that part of me is like, he's going to go out and sign like Kyle Tucker. Because
he needs to.
He has to.
Has to, yeah.
And like I say, Kyle Tucker, can you imagine? One, I don't know how much he loves playing in Chicago. With all that wind.
With all that wind,
in that ballpark. And like his numbers, he's having a good year, but his numbers are down.
Yeah.
His numbers are down this year. Can you imagine Kyle Tucker playing 81 games in Camden Yards?
Yeah.
And then
even Yankee Stadium.
And then another 6 or 7 games at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And then playing with that
even Toronto
in Boston.
Yeah.
Like
he would legitimately hit 20 home runs just against the East.
He'd hit 40, 45 home runs.
Yeah.
Playing for the Orioles. Like those are the
We've had that expectations for a lot of guys in this roster, though.
Well,
that's the only problem.
Anthony Santander struggles to hit his batting average wise, and he hit 44 home runs last year.
Yeah.
So like, I legitimately think that there's got to be a bunch of big swings from Elias this offseason to keep his job.
Yeah.
I
Is there enough swings out there for him to keep his job? Like, if you don't land Tucker and Valdez, is that enough to get this team where it needs to be?
Well, yes.
Like, what if you went Tucker and loaded the bullpen up and then ignored the starting staff?
You can't ignore the starting staff. You absolutely cannot.
He's got Tyler Wells.
Yeah, and Grayson, right?
And Povich and McDermott. That's what they're going to feed us.
Young, right?
Yeah.
No, so, but you can trade for Mackenzie Gore
or
Joe Ryan, or Sandy Alcantara or Alcantara, however you want to pronounce it, or Yuri Perez. You can trade for somebody to bring in here. You can sign Dylan Cease and hope that he bounces back. And I think that I think you can legitimately go to any free agent and say, look, I've got you're not going to say, I've got an open checkbook, name your number, right? But you're going to say, look, I've got the wherewithal to sign you and bring you in here. This is what we're trying to do here. We want to sign you and and a bunch of these other guys out here, and we want to be the best team in baseball next year and for the next 5 years, and we're winning a World Series come hell or high water. And you have those conversations. Who's not signing up for that when you look at what the core is on that's already here?
Right.
But that's what those are the conversations that you have to have. You have to have those conversations. It can't be, oh, well, we're going to go talk to JD Martinez because I think that his Oppo Taco power plays in Camden Yards. Like you can't have the conversations with the Tyler O'Neills and the Gary Sanchez's of the world anymore. They don't help you by not being on the field.
So Tucker is 28. In January, he'll be 29. Mm-hmm. His market value is 12 years, $515 million. This is on Sports Track. So an annual salary of $42.9 million, which is just under Juan Soto for the most for a position player.
Well, you look at what Tucker's done in his career.
Yeah. So Vladdy's at 35, 14 for 500. Bregman right now is at 40, 3 for 120, and Judge was at 9 for 360. And Judge signed that at 30. So would 9 for 380 get it done?
For Kyle Tucker?
Yeah. Because roughly going to be 29 years old, right? So that's in Judge territory. Now, Soto signed his at 26. It's a big difference there, but he still gave him 15 years. I think 15 is just a little ridiculous.
That's nuts.
Yeah. But that's 9 years. We'll say 9 years, $380 million. What is that? I'm not very good at math.
9 years, $380 million is just over $44 million.
42.2. So they're market valued at 42.9. So you're right there. Does that get it done? Or do you think somebody beats that? Do you think somebody goes to the market value? Do you think somebody goes 12 for 515?
No.
That's absurd.
I don't. I mean, the Cubs would be the stiffest competition, I think. I mean, everybody wants Kyle Tucker. Anybody would line up to sign Kyle Tucker. The Cubs are going to be the top competition for him. They want him back again.
The Dodgers are going to find a way. They probably don't have any room for him. We'll sign him anyway. Put him at third.
Look at his numbers. Look at his numbers. The OPS plus. He's got a.
Go ahead.
He's got a 140 OPS plus for his career. He's got. I was just thinking, his career high in home runs is 30. He ain't getting there this year. He might get to 25, maybe, but probably not. He's probably going to be in that 23 range like he was last year. But last year was only in 78 games because he got hurt. Man, that's a hell of a year for 78 games.
Right.
You look at what he's done. He's a consistent player. Is he a world beater?
So here's the problem. He's only played in his career, 24 and 25. So he's going into his contract year, he's only played in 67% of games because he missed so much last year. Everyone else that played and signed their deal was over 95%. Of the 2 years leading up. He had one game. I mean, 1 year where he was hurt. Right. Yeah. And that was 2024. You look back to 2020, his first full season, he played 58 of 60 games. Mm-hmm. He played 140, 150, 157. He got hurt last year, and he's tracking to play about 155 games this year, if not 106. I think he's played in just about every game for them this year. So you look at that and you say he had an injury. Guys get hurt, but he's been a model of consistency with the bat, and he has a model of consistency with the WAR. When he plays, he's a 5.5 win player. He's a 5.5 win player. In his 67% of games, he's a 7.71 WAR. And then the only one better than him out of those guys that I listed was Judge at 8.12.
Are you looking at Fangraphs?
I'm looking at Sports Track. So they're based in the statistical comparisons for guys that are like his contract expectancy. Mm-hmm. So Bregman was only a 4.3. Now they're looking into the 2 years going into their contract season when they're pulling these stats. Vladdy was a 5.3 and Juan Soto was a 6.16. So he might get 400 plus.
He's gonna get a ton of money. He's gonna get a ton of money. And
If they did that, do they have enough? You can't sign a bullpen and a starter if you're spending $400 million on Kyle Tucker. Now, do you pivot to Kyle Schwarber? Because that's only going to be around 200 probably, maybe 150. But he's 30, 31, right?
He's not leaving Philly. I think he's 33.
No. Is he?
He's not leaving Philly.
I don't think he is either. Philly's not dumb. They're not letting Ranger or him walk out that door. Not if they want to keep competing. They might let Castellanos go. Christ, could you imagine if Philly was a player for Kyle Tucker?
Yeah, Schwarber will be 33 before opening day next year.
I wouldn't. God, I just thought of that. They're going to be in play for Kyle Tucker. They're going to let Castellanos go, and they're going to try and replace it with Kyle Tucker. And they're going to re-sign Schwarber. Yeah. They don't care.
Man, I think that realistically, this team signs Pete Alonso.
Do you think he even leaves New York?
Yes.
He loves it there.
They're paying, and I know that Steve Cohen doesn't care, but they gave $700 million to Juan Soto. They gave $700 million, and they're going to have to give him legitimately 5 years, $200 million. They're going to have to give Alonso at least 5 years, $200 million. The Orioles could do that. The Orioles could give him 5 years.
But the Mets make that right back, don't they?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and I've been reading The Last Manager by John Miller about Earl Weaver. I didn't realize that the Orioles have always operated this way.
So they're not. The Mets are estimated to, in revenue this year, estimated $444 million.
Wow.
They don't care. You continue to do that every year. Like, these contracts are nothing. They don't care about that.
Yeah. Well, way to ruin my Sunday night, Zach.
Yeah.
The Orioles aren't signing anybody.
But so this is before taxes, interest, and all. So even after all that, you're still looking at, according to Forbes, would be an estimated $268 million in revenue.
Yeah. That pays
for 2 years for that pays for Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
3 years of that pays for Juan Soto. They don't care.
Well, that's the only hope that I have. Vlad got what? 12 years.
Vlad got
what did he get?
14 for 500.
14 for 500. So he's making $70
and he was 26.
At 26 years old, $70 million a year.
35.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. 35.
Yeah.
I did my math the wrong way. Okay. He's making $35 million a year.
3 years younger.
They're paying 35. He's not even going to hit 25 home runs this year.
Right.
He just hit his 19th today. You know what, though? Baseball doesn't care. Baseball doesn't care. They're a cash cow, and they're just going to keep spending money on guys. I look at a guy like Kyle Tucker who hits about 285, 30 homers, 100 RBI, and if that was a player in 1992, you give him whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Honestly, if that was a player 10 years ago, you give him whatever he wants. I look at that now and I'm like, your numbers are just good. Like, and that sounds so strange to me. He's a great outfielder. He's got a great bat. He's very consistent. Is that worth $42 million a year? Is 30 homers and 100 RBI worth $42 million, $42 million a year?
Yeah.
He's never put up. You look at Vladdy's. You look at Vladdy's best years. He's getting $35 million a year. Kyle Tucker has never put up a year like what Vladdy put up in 2021. He's never done it. He hasn't even sniffed it. And we're gonna give him $42 million a year. Can I go to the bathroom?
Hold on, I'll be right back. I got the dog. He's about to pee.
That's all right. But he's gonna get it. He's gonna get a huge contract. The Orioles have to go out and sign a bat. They've got the financial ability to go out there and sign a bat. They've got 3 billionaires as part of their ownership group. They have the ability to go out there and sign a big bat. But and I hate to say it because it shouldn't be this way, but if you sign somebody like Kyle Tucker or Pete Alonso, or you go out and you pay top dollar for a top of the rotation starter, can you afford to pay your core? Can you, if you go out there and you sign these guys, you sign a Kyle Tucker or you sign a Pete Alonso or a Kyle Schwarber, what happens to your core? Can you afford to extend anybody if you give Kyle Tucker 10 years, $420 million?
So the Orioles last year made $366 million in revenue. Operating income was only $64 million. So a lot of that was dumped into the stadium, $171 million into player expenses. $66 million, $64 million does not give them
the stadium. They got $600 million from the Maryland Stadium Authority for the stadium.
But the fence they paid for themselves.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So, and they're 12% depth to value. I'm reading Forbes right now. I don't even know what that means. But $64 million operating income. Does that even give you like the excitement to go out and spend money? Now, being a businessman, you know sometimes when you invest in something, your returns become higher when you put good money into it. But what if it doesn't?
Right.
What if it doesn't? Like, you tried this year, whether this be Mike Elias' fault or not, you can say the player expenses went up. The revenue is likely going to go down. I feel like fan engagement has just not been there like it was last year. So your operating income is probably going to drop into the 50-ish million. And you spent more money? Like, I don't know. This could be me thinking negative here. I'm hoping not. But we're not in the same ballpark as the Mets.
We're not. And nobody should expect them to be.
Yeah.
You've got to spend some money somewhere. You've absolutely got to spend some money somewhere. And you have to add a bat to the middle of your order. Let's look. Cedric Mullins only had 59 RBI the year that he hit 30 home runs.
Nate George just got called up to Aberdeen. Hell yeah.
Oh, he deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it. He's having a hell of a year.
By the way, did you see Esteban Mijas' stat line today?
Mm-mm.
So he pitched for Delmarva. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick so I don't say the wrong one. But I know it was 4.1 innings. Let me just pull up Delmarva's page. 4.1 innings, and I remember 7 strikeouts. I don't remember what he did in between that. Here we go. Box score. 4.1 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned, 1 walk, 7 Ks.
Wow.
As a was he 17? 18-year-old, and they said he was sitting at 100.
Wow.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah. That is exciting. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I was reading that last manager book, and the Orioles never spent at the top of the free agent market ever in the history of this franchise. They always just
I don't think they were going to.
And then when they finally did start buying some free agents, like spending some money, you look in like the late 70s to the mid 80s, they kind of fell flat on their face, except for like a couple of seasons in there. 83 being one of them, obviously. Then you look in the mid to late 90s, the Orioles had the highest payroll in baseball. They had the highest payroll in baseball. Yeah. And I think Cal and Raffy were like 2 of the highest paid players in the league, but that was at like $6 million a year. The guys are making 10 times that now.
Right.
You know, I really, really want them to be a team that you don't have to go out and play for every guy out there, but be a team that signs one of them. Yeah. And trades for some guys. Like they've got so much work to do. It's time to go out there and nut up. They've absolutely got to go out there and nut up, you know. But I do want to get to some people's comments before we get out of here today. Landon says, Angelos set the bar really low. Somehow Rubenstein has failed to clear the extremely low bar set by the past regime. Disappointing. When I see that, he's owned the team for a year. They didn't get full shift in ownership until last August. They've had the team for a year. He's had one off season, and he trusted his baseball people to do their job, and they didn't do it. I don't think you really don't ever hear too much from the owner. You shouldn't hear too much from the owner. And I don't know that we're going to hear too much from the owner in the off season. But I think that Rubenstein being the control person, having full ownership shift just last August. They've had this team complete control of the team for a year and one off season. I can't say that he's failed to clear the extremely low bar set by the past regime because it's just not enough time has passed.
Yeah.
This off season, if nothing happens and Mike Elias is still free and clear to run this team how he sees fit, and we get no repercussions for doing nothing again, then yeah, we can make those complaints. But it's been a year and one off season. Let's get through this off season before we start passing all the judgment. I get it.
I don't think it's been a full year, has it? Because the final sale was August last year, wasn't it?
And it's August now, so it's been a year.
Yeah.
Right? So like I'm reserving judgment on Rubenstein until after this coming off season. They have a lot of work to do. They have a ton of work to do. Why is Ryan Mountcastle starting any day over Kobe Mayo?
I find that so funny. It was literally yesterday. He was like, "Oh," they asked him. They said, "Who's gonna how do you plan on splitting these guys at first base?" Kobe Mayo is going to get the primary share at first base, and then literally the next day, Ryan Mountcastle was starting out there, and I was just like,
right
again, a disconnect.
Yeah,
oh gosh,
they've got to showcase him because they're going to try and trade him in the offseason, or they're going to try and trade one of these guys in the offseason, right? If not both, because I do think that Basayo ends up at first base for his career. I think he ends up as a first baseman. The wear and tear on Basayo already. He's a 20-year-old kid. He's huge, and he's spent multiple trips to the IL in every season.
For his elbow.
Yeah, elbow, shoulder, back. Like he's been on the IL multiple times each year. So I just don't know that he sticks at catcher.
I just think the bat's too good to worry about him behind the plate, honestly. Like, just don't even worry about it. Like, you kind of already see him with Adley. When Adley DHs, he's just a better hitter. Like, if his bat is that good, just scratch catching. Just do it. Whatever. Creed's there. Creed's a good player in his own right, too. Just if you really think he's a generational hitter, just put him at first base, please.
Yeah. Exactly. What's the rush to call up more players when the young talent already on the team is struggling? I mean,
everybody just wants to see it.
Yeah, and these guys, like, they've earned it.
To me, I understand the whole PPI thing. It helps your team long term, right? So I understand waiting. Do I agree with it? 50%. The other 50% of me says this is a lost season. Get them up here. Let them go through their lumps now. Let them learn certain situations. Let them see what they need to work on all off season so they come out next year ready to roll. That's what I want the most rather than a first-round pick. But 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, whoever that first-round pick might turn out to be, I might sing a different tune, right? It's a tough call to make. It really is, because right now and 2026, if you want to compete, those two guys have to be ready to roll. You can't sit there and wait for them to take their lumps. But you don't know what you're getting 5 years from now out of somebody you could potentially draft in the first round next year. They could be a freaking outstanding ball player. It could be the next Jordan Westberg, right? That helps your franchise. It helps your team. It's just one of them stupid situations. And look, like you said, Mike's a smart guy. He went to Yale, and I think they trust their computers on that, and they see a chance for them to win more than just after a nothing year right now. Fine. It just is going to piss the fans off, and it is.
Yeah. Mike Elias sucks at drafting. I don't think I agree with that.
I don't want to agree with it, but we've seen the regression.
How much of that is on the coaching staff?
That's what I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, that one's tough.
We'll find out. Let's stick on that for 1 second. We'll find out if Cedric Mullins turns it around and does really well. If Ramon Laureano continues to hit well and Ryan O'Hearn picks it back up because he wasn't hitting all that great before the deadline. If Soto really figures it out, if Andrew Kittredge absolutely shoves, then we start to get our answer. Some of the answer. I mean, these guys were the guys that fixed Ryan O'Hearn and took Ramon Laureano when no one else in baseball really wanted him and turned him into this kind of a trade, but it remains to be seen. I think how they finish their seasons plays a big part. We saw Austin Hayes this year play pretty well. But the flip side, you see Anthony Santander having the worst year of his career. So coaching matters. These guys aren't going to get to every single guy, but you want them to get to a majority. And I just don't know if they got to majority this year, if that makes sense.
Oh,
obviously they got
Austin
to Ramon
Hayes.
Laureano, but everybody else got worse.
I do want to take a look at Austin Hayes real quick because he was tearing the cover off the ball in the first half.
Is he sucking again?
Let's see.
He always sucks in the second half. I don't understand. That needs to be studied.
The first half in 47 games, he had 287 with an 840 OPS, 8 home runs, four triples, 9 doubles, 37 RBI in 47 games. Second half, 181 with a 575 OPS in 20 games.
Jesus.
The guy's never put together a full season in his entire career. He had 365 in April, 254 in May, 231 in June, 247 in July. He is 2 for 25 in August, hitting 080 with a 115 OBP and a 235 OPS. That's worse than Jackson Holiday.
So that makes you feel a little bit better, right? That somebody didn't leave. Somebody left and stayed par for the course.
Right.
So that makes you feel a little bit better, but it's tough. I see a lot of people say, like, what does Cody Ashley do? And I have those same questions myself, but I also have seen some guys get better and some guys get worse. So you just got to find a median. And right now, I don't think the median is as good as it needs to be.
So Gregory Soto, 6 games is yet to allow an earned run with the Mets. He's got a .2 WAR with them. He had a .3 WAR with the Orioles in 45 games.
Yeah.
You know,
he's lowered his whip. He lowered his walk per 9.
1 walk.
I tweeted about it earlier. Everybody, he's going to blow up. Everybody does. Every bullpen guy does. But, you know.
He didn't do that for us when we traded for him at the deadline last year.
Right. He struggled. And like you said, is it on coaching? I don't know. You know, we'll find out in the offseason if they ask him. What's that?
Kittredge has a 10.80 ERA in 4 games against the Cubs, but 2 of those games he was lights out against the Orioles.
Well, yeah. So they said that the night before or something, I think he gave up like a ton of runs. The very next day,
against Cincinnati.
Inning. Yeah, there was an immenculate inning.
Yeah,
the
he
next
did.
Day.
Yeah, against Cincinnati. He had in his last 5 games. Well, in his 4 games out of Baltimore, he has allowed no hits in 3 of them, in an inning pitched in each, and no base runners. The 1 game against Cincinnati, a third of an inning, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 home run. So yeah, it was the 1 game. You know Laureano's tearing the cover off the ball. Let's see what O'Hearn's doing. Just because I'm interested. I'm interested to see. I know that he didn't get off to a great start with San Diego, and then he hit that home run. 188. He is 3 for 16 with San Diego in 7 games. 188 with 810 OPS because he has a home run amongst his 3 hits. And then Laureano, I know he's still tearing the cover off the ball there. 294, 1 home run, 8 RBI. So he's calmed down. He was 8 for 22, and he's just 2 for his last 12.
Yeah.
So he's slowed, which you knew was going to happen. He wasn't going to go 8 for every 22.
Yeah.
Every 22.
I wouldn't say that
Gunnar,
Elias sucks just yet.
Yeah. Gunnar needs to be a third baseman, followed up by Jackson should be a shortstop. Gunnar is amongst, if you go look, I'm pretty sure it would tell you that he's amongst the most elite defenders in baseball at shortstop this year. The guy hasn't made an error in it's at least 30 games.
Now, don't get me wrong. Gunnar Henderson would be a fantastic third baseman. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
But like we talked about, I don't think it matters where you put him on the field. He's going to play the position pretty well. He just needs to learn the mental side of baseball.
Jackson, in my opinion, doesn't have the arm strength to play shortstop.
Not shortstop, no.
Every day. Let's see. I feel kind of bad for Alex Jackson. My read is his mindset was as long as his throw is like a D+, we've got this guy by a mile. And then the throw from Gunnar was a straight up F.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, and he was probably like, "Oh crap! This throw is really bad. I got to catch this quick and get back and tag this guy because he has to. We can't let him score." And he tried to tag him before he caught the ball. I think that was obvious. Let's see. The Birds are now 1 game better than the A's. Adit said, I saw a rumor that the Orioles were the most active team, and Keller talks at deadline. If they had traded and paid the remaining $55 million on this deal, would that be the most they paid in a trade? Probably, but in my opinion, he's a 3 or a 4.
I wouldn't pay that.
Like he's a solid 3 or a 4.
I have no interest in him.
Being I don't either. I don't even he's not an ace. He had 1 year where he was an ace for the first half of the season, but he's pitched like
he's pitched like Dean Kramer.
A decent,
like a slightly better Dean Kramer.
Yeah, like he's like he's a really good number 4. Like a really good number 4. Like
I shouldn't say Dean Kramer. We'll say Zach Eflin when he's on. I think that's more of a fair comparison. Like when he has some really good games, and then he just has some that he just doesn't. Yeah.
Do you agree with this? Mansolino doesn't like Mayo, and in particular, it seems like Mayo doesn't trust the hitting coaches. Do you think there's any accuracy to that?
I wouldn't say that he doesn't like Mayo. I think it's more of that bluntness that just kind of nobody else has. So I think they kind of are learning how to coexist, if that makes sense. I think the second half is particularly true. They have talked about his unwillingness to want to change, and I think that he trusts his hands with that slight little, that little hitch that we talk about. But I think it has fixed itself. It's not as an aggressive hitch anymore. He still has a little bit of it, but he's catching up. So I could see the second part being fairly true. And it's not just him that he would have to look at either. I mean, you can look at regression all down the board there. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I said that the other day that every player on this roster has regressed this year, and I just don't see any way that these guys keep their jobs. That the coaching staff keeps their jobs. I mean, they're all going to go anyway because they're not going to bring in a manager and keep the same coaching staff. Right. It's going to be a new manager with a new coaching staff. Do you have a particular favorite that you want to be the Orioles' next manager?
I don't know if it matters unless they get to set their philosophy from the top down. Because if not, who cares who's managing this team? If they're still chasing the way that they're hitting right now and their minor leagues are still doing the same exact thing, the hell does it matter? You could have God himself down there. Still ain't going to work.
Yeah. So something's got to change. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think that you can realistically expect this franchise to make much noise if they're operating the way the GM wants the team to operate based on his computer simulations. You've got to have a feel for the game, a feel for the moment. And I never saw Brandon Hyde have a feel for the moment. There was one game. It was that 4-game series in 2022 against the Blue Jays over Labor Day, where they needed to win a ball game, and he brought Dylan Tate in the 6th inning, and like he was managing to win that game. That was the only time in Brandon Hyde's entire tenure here where I felt like he managed in the moment. Otherwise, I think that he too stupid for his own good. Today's show has been.
I'll say Adit just said that Michael Ferret to Double A as well. That long time coming there. Dude had like a 1.5 ERA in Aberdeen this year, just mowing dudes down.
Nice. Well, there's been a lot of promotions, and I think that there's going to be a couple more promotions that we're really going to like, and I cannot wait to not have to watch Greg Allen and Jordan Adams and Jeremiah Jackson and Ryan Noda in the outfield anymore. Let's get Beavers up here. Let's get Basayo up here. I get it. Hopefully, when we're on the show next Sunday, we're talking about them being up here or about
What's
to
the
come
date
up.
next Sunday?
And the date next Sunday is the 17th.
I think we have one more day. I think 18th is that day when they travel to Boston, because it's just a 2-game series and then they come home, right? Or is it a day off?
Yeah. No, they play Tuesday, Wednesday against Boston, and they come home to play. I think it's the Astros.
But is it on Friday or is it Thursday?
No, I think they play on Thursday.
I couldn't remember if it was a day off. I think they tease that in Boston. They get fans excited to see what they can do, and then they try to pack the yard that night.
For sure. Today's show brought to you by County Sports Zone. All summer long, County Sports Zone is keeping you updated on the high school sports news. CountySports.zone is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. You got anything else before we get out of here?
No, I just same thing we talked about last time. And we need to see these guys that you are going to keep in 2026 that are in the lineup right now starting to contribute a little bit more than they are, because right now I don't like it.
Been hearing the comments from Adley about we should be more motivated. I think guys are going to be more motivated. Comments from Westberg saying, basically it's time for us to put on our big boy shoes or big boy pants and go out there.
How many times have we heard that this year?
Yeah, how many times? Every single time. Like every time the team faces adversity, we hear that, and then they still crap the bed. So all talk, little action. I want to see you walk before instead of hearing you talk anymore. All right, that's going to do it for us on the Batter Round. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you, we don't have a show. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners, viewers, fans. Without you, we 100% do not have a show. Zach, thank you to you as always. Follow Zach at Pigtown Sports